Welcome at this new landing challenge video. In this landing challenge video we're gonna land with the Airbus A320 at the Gold Coast Airport. Double the word airport. And while descending, one of the engines will stop, as it looks like. So let's click on fly and let's see what happens. It's a pro flight, so it's more pro landing challenge, so it's a little bit more difficult compared to the easy one. So you can see we're going 180 knots, then we're descending above the city to 160. A little bit further we reduce to 145 and then land at runway 14, which is 21 feet AMSL. So let's see what happens and which engine fails. Would have been cooler if they didn't say it and simply the engine stops, but let's see. So it's there, here's the airport and here's the aircraft. As you can see, for now everything is normal. While looking at the meters, everything is okay. So both engines are still working. We need to reduce altitude. Not too much. Everything is still fine. We're on the good speed. Flaps are set to 1 plus, right? So they're 1 knob down. It's nice weather, as you can see. A few clouds. Not too worrying. And the airport is, I would say, pretty near us. We need to fly a little bit further. And as you just heard, there is something wrong. And as you can see, while focusing on the centerpiece, you can see that the left engine simply stopped working. Well, that's not good. So if we would also switch to the engine view, you can see that there is really something wrong with this engine. But hey, that's bad, but it will not prevent us from landing using one engine, right? We still have the capabilities of doing that. One thing which we need to keep in mind is, of course, that we're not, I would say, reducing speed too much, because we only have one engine. So if we need to increase speed, will probably be a little bit more challenging. So we'll leave the flaps at 1 for now. I'll actually drop them to 2. Because we need to reduce speed to 165. So we're currently a little bit going too fast, as you can see. So we're at 2000 feet. So reducing flaps, or increasing the flaps a little bit more. So then we're gonna also ensure that the gears are down. I'm gonna go put the flaps to full to reduce the speed, because as you can see we're going a little bit too fast. And we're also above the glide path. So let's decrease altitude a little bit more. 1000 feet. We're still not at the glide path, right? Because the poppy lights are not burning. You can see that the aircraft tries to push us to the left. So we need to be pushing it a little bit further back.
400, 300, 200, 100.
Will not be an optimal landing.
30, 20, retard.
Definitely not. So requires some more practicing, so let's give it another try. As soon as it has provided us the scoring. So I think based on this we need to decrease altitude further, we need to reduce the speed further. to ensure that we're say going more slower, approaching the runway a little bit slower as normal. So you can see ground roll was not good. Also precision was also not that fine. Landing smoothness also not. So let's go back to the activities menu. And this remembers me, but we forgot to do one important thing. And for those who watched my previous video, which I posted yesterday, you could have seen that I was using the air brakes, or not sorry, the brakes there, the auto brake functionality. And that's one I didn't use in this one, so that's something I also forgot to do. So lessons learned is we need to reduce speed, we need to fly a little bit lower when approaching the runway. That also prevents that we need to make a large correction, which results in increasing the speed. And then also switch on the auto brakes. Let's set them to medium for now, which is I would say good enough. And while talking about that, medium is already set, so that's fine. Probably because I pushed the brakes automatically. So we're gonna decrease altitude. So we're nearing the Gold Coast. Reducing throttle as much as possible, because as you can see we're coming close into the danger zone already. And here you hear a strange sound, right? So let's have a look. And as you can see, the engine has dropped. So if we would look at the other data, like using the ECAM, you can also see that the PSI, so the pressure, has completely dropped. In the meantime, we decreased a lot more. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take care of the landing. So speed, we need to drop it massively because we're going too fast. And one way to reduce the speed is by using the air brake. And the other option is to use the flaps. Be careful with the flaps, because if you're, I would say, pushing flaps down too fast, and especially when you're on a high speed, you can break the flaps, and will have, I would say, some other impacts. As you can see, poppy light, one of them is already burning, which is good, so we're close to the glide path. Pushing down the flaps one position more, so they're now at position 3. Laying down the gears. And the challenge with one engine is that it sometimes pushes the aircraft a little bit out of position, right? So you need to take care of that. And while we're talking, we're going a little bit too low, so let's also reduce the descent rate. So 500 feet. Going into the different view. Increase throttling a bit. So while we were initially perfect, you can see that we're now, I would say, a little bit too low. So again, this will not be an optimal, I would say, landing challenge. So we might want to give it another try. So let's reduce speed again. Push the aircraft a little bit more down.
100, 60, 50. 40, 30, 20. Retard.
Ugh, far too bumpy. Far too bumpy. So let's try it another. Let's just try it once more, and then if that doesn't work, I need to practice more. So we're gonna redo speed, and we're at 0 now, almost. A little bit more points at previously, but not enough, right? You can see ground rule was it was not good. Let's keep it that way. So we're gonna go back to the activities menu due to the fact that restart does not always work and will crash the landing challenge with Landing Challenge Pro. So keep that in mind. So final try, engine trouble at the Gold Coast. So what did we learn? We were a little bit far too low at the end, so we need to let's say prevent that we're descending too fast. We know that the left engine stops because we already tried it 2 times. Should not be an issue. It's pushing us a little bit more to the left side, so we need to take that into account. Auto brakes have been set to medium, which is fine. So let's start the descent. Also, we're gonna end up far too high at the glide scope. Passing almost at 3,000 feet. Here we hear the weird sound, right? So if we now look at the engine, at engine number 1, you can see it's, say, almost dead. It doesn't do much anymore, so we lost 1 engine. But again, it should be an issue because we can still land using 1 engine. The challenge is that if you're decreasing your speed too much, that increasing the speed with 1 engine, say, is sometimes a bit challenging.
2,500.
So we pass at 2,500 feet. Gotta slowly turn to the airport. Also push the flaps 1 down. So keep in mind that if you're pushing the flaps down, that the maximum speed will decrease. So you're not able to fly as fast anymore as you would probably want to, or maybe want to. So we're also gonna decrease the descent rate. Gonna do the brakes down. Now you see that the power light has switched off again. So we were actually in a good direction of the glide path. So let's descend a little bit more. Pushing flaps also a little bit more. Gears are already down, as you can see.
1,000.
So now 2 of the poppy lights are burning, and you can see that the aircraft tries to push us a little bit more to the left side, which we don't want, because we want to go to the right side, and you can see that the correction takes some more time. A little bit above the glide path.
400.
Now we're in the glide path again.
200.
Now we're below it.
100.
and decrease the speed. We're almost standing still, so let's see how happy it was with us this time. Well, it was a large improvement, although not that optimal. You can see that ground roll and position was not okay. I would say landing smoothness, for some reason I'm always around this pace, so that's something I really need to investigate, how I can improve it a little bit more. Here ends this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments or maybe feedback about how I can improve this landing challenge, then feel free to post them below the video. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.